And we can just play Emrakul. We can just play Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Alright, we're going first, which is fantastic. We're going up against a Planeswalker, Professor Delian Fell. So we'll keep this. Now I'll explain a little bit about this card when they decide to keep their hand or no. Alright, we'll play out Library of Alexandria. And so Professor Delian Fell is pretty excellent because it's 4 mana and it has very high loyalty. It can be 7 when it comes down. So with one activation, they can get it to 7, and then on their very next activation, they can ultimate it, which says you get an emblem with whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So I expect they're going to have lots of ways to take advantage of that. So let's go ahead and play out our Page Loose Leaf. We don't have much in the way of Eldrazi in our hand, but we have a ton of ramp. We also have Tezzeret Cruel Captain, which we can use to search for an artifact card with mana value 1 or less. So they're considering whether to kill our Page Loose Leaf. It'll just put us behind 1 mana if they do that. That's why Page the Loose Leaf is so much of a damned if you do, damned if you don't commander, because I think it's a bad idea to kill it, but it's also helps my game plan quite a bit if I have a 4-drop in my hand on turn 3. But currently I'll just have 3 drops, so even if they kill this, we'll be able to do whatever it is we'd like to. So they kill that. We will continue to ramp. And so next turn, we'll probably be playing Palantir of Ornthak and an Arcane Signet. They may have artifact removal as well. Brain's pretty heavy in artifact and enchantment removal. We'll play out Arcane Signet. And we'll play Palantir of Ornthak. Maybe we'll find a big thing on top of our deck. I do want Chimley quite a bit, so I'm going to put the Wastes on top. And they'll probably have me mill that. And they'll take 0 damage if that's the case. Alright. They unexpectedly let me draw my first card there. Alright, so what can we do here?
You have a chance to. I can heal you.
So we're already in quite a bit of trouble because the Planeswalker is so difficult to deal with. Alright, we'll play Chimley the Inner Sun. And we'll see what we get. So we will mill, or we will scribe both of those to the bottom. And so they will probably ultimate next turn, which is going to be a big problem. My only hope is that I get a backbreaking Eldrazi before they're able to kill us. It's pretty much it. We haven't been able to activate Library of Alexandria this game because we've never been close to 7 cards in hand. Alright, so we discover 5, and we get something that's not that great, Idol of the False Gods. We did draw something pretty awesome, which is Forsaken Monument, which allows us to tap for double mana, and then also whenever we cast a colorless spell, we gain 2 life. Alright, they're dark ritualing, so does this mean that we're dead? We play a 1-ring. Huh. play a One Ring, and then they do the emblem as
Your final
expected.
exam begins.
So they'll draw a card, and then they'll probably attack with the 4/2. That's a Badger Pest. And do they have some other response? Gaining 5 life, okay. Not great. Okay, so we'll play a Snow-Covered Waste. We'll play... Let's count this out. Do we have 10 mana? Because... we do not. Alright, so we'll play Forsaken Monument. Then we'll play... I got it. We'll play... Tezzera Eternal Scourge, and I'll use it to make Chimley into a creature, attacking down the Delian. I think that's the play.
You're inferior in every possible way.
Actually, let's do the Replicating Ring.
Make yourself useful.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Karn, actually. It doesn't actually make this a creature. Alright. Sorry about that. I have a few Planeswalkers in my deck, and they do similar things, and I'm trying to talk and play, so no excuse, but... Alright, are we dead now?
I have life
I think so. Almost. Almost dead. Alright. Now what we can do... let's tap this for mana. I guess black is fine. Let's Mindslaver. Let's go ahead and activate that. And we'll play the page. And let's go ahead and grab one of the 1 mana things that we have here, which is Mox Opal, or do we grab Commander's Plate? I guess Mox Opal, because I know I can cast this. Gain a little bit more life. We'll dump those. Even with us taking control of their turn, I don't know if we're going to be able to win here, but at least we're gaining life for every creature that we are playing. Alright, so what can we do? Can we hose them here? Alright, they drew a Sanguine Bond. Alright, let's destroy the Enduring Tenacity. And then we're going to decline to put the commander in the command zone.
I knew you were unprepared.
And what else can we do? Let's go ahead and draw with their One Ring. And alright, so coming back on our turn, none of these things are going to be great for us. What we can do is cultivate and fail to find, so we'll decline. Let's look at the rest of their deck real quick. Okay, they have some of the expected things like Bloodthirsty Conqueror, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, Exquisite Blood, all the things that just combo with that emblem. So we're going to decline, and we'll pass. We will not attack ourselves. And let's see what we can do, if anything. All right, let's equip Page. Let's play the Thought-Knot Seer. Let's get rid of Sanguine Bond. That will get exiled for good. And let's play Bane of Bala Ged. Gaining a bit more life, and Eternal Scourge. And we will attack them. They won't be able to block. We're going to have to fade a lot of stuff, though. We keep getting those 2 snow-covered lands on top. It's kind of wild. So going to have to let us draw. And we'll discover 5. We get a rune card, carved obelisk. Gaining a little bit more. We'll be able to gain a little bit more life with this Echoes of Eternity. Alright, let's see if we're dead. We have to get rid of this Enduring Tenacity. We have to exile it if we hope to stay alive. I'm not feeling too confident, but at least we got rid of the Sanguine Bond. That would have been a death sentence. Alright, so they have 6 mana. They got a Virulent Emissary. What else are they going to do? They can't interact with our page any longer. They'll feed the swarm on our Bane. So you're going to lose life for that. 3 mana left. And they play a Sanguine Siphoner. Whenever this creature attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That is another combo piece. Alright, we're alive for the moment. They second-guessed attacking. Probably not too great for them. Alright, so we got Ulamog the Defiler. So let's see here. We have 14. Let's play this out. And then we'll play out Ulamog the Defiler. We'll only get to keep 1 copy here. But that will cause them to hang it up. Let's take a look at that. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like they could have still come back from that. Because, yes, I was getting 2 Ulamog the Defiler activations, but they had time to find a combo piece with Enduring Tenacity. If I was in their spot, I definitely would not have conceded there, but hey, we got there. Alright, we're up against Old Stick Fingers. We will keep this hand. We're going first again, which is fantastic, but Old Stick Fingers tends to be a combo commander. I guess if we see it, I will let you know how it goes. I don't know all the details of it, but I just recall that it is a combo commander. Wants to mill creatures and recur them and somehow make it infinite. Let's go ahead and play our Page Loose Leaf. So Page is in the command zone simply to ramp. It has add 1 colorless, and it has an entire line of text that is irrelevant for Commander because we're unable to play anything, any duplicates in our deck. So it killed it immediately with Grave Studies. And then it says conjure a card named Teacher's Pest on the battlefield, then each player sacrifices a creature. Alright, let's play out Spawning Bed and Urza's Construction Drone. So that'll conjure Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower into our library. And then whenever we attack, we're able to conjure one of those lands, which is be pretty sweet. Even if they kill this, we'll get one of those lands. All right, great. So we have Urza's Cave, which is an Urza land as well, but it is not one of the 3 that makes us 7 mana. Let's play out Weathermaker. They're holding priority for some reason. Urza's Cave. That puts a charge counter on here. We will attack with the Construction Drone, and then we'll get another land. Again, they're holding priority. Feels like they really would like to kill this. It doesn't matter too much, although if they kill it now, I'll only get 1 land out of the deal. If I attack, I'll at least be insured to get 2, because when it attacks, I seek the card, and then when it dies, I seek the card. So I'll get 2 of the 3 regardless now, which is awesome. This is an alchemy only card, but I have it in one of my other decks that wants to ramp a lot. Alright, so they play a Paramecia Colonyx. It's a zombie worm. When this creature enters, mills 3 cards. When this creature dies, you can exile it. When you do, put target creature from your graveyard on top of your library. Did they mill any creatures? Let's take a look. Well, they've got Vizier of the Menagerie, Teacher's Pest. Nothing that seems super combo-like yet. Let's play the Urza's Tower. And remember, it's 3 counters that has to go on the Weathermaker for us to deal 3 damage. Alright, so we'll attack. Again, they're holding priority. It's kind of frustrating. I'm just trying to play the game, and I don't know, they're just slowing it down or thinking about something. I don't know. I actually would prefer that they... Okay, cool, I guess. They make this bigger so they can block and kill it, I guess. That's okay. I'm actually going to get all 3 Urza's lands out of this silly thing that they did. So they're able to put... Is Vizier of the Menagerie part of the combo? I cannot recall. Alright, so we're going to play Ultima Origin of Oblivion. So this is kind of secretly a good card, or maybe not secretly to those of you that play the gray stuff. Whenever it attacks, put a blank counter on target land. For as long as that land has a blank counter on it, loses all the land types and abilities, and has add, tap, add a colorless, and then we get to make double colorless. So that's really the hidden part that is great in this kind of deck, because if this lives, there are 3 mana, we'll be able to easily cast some big haymakers like Krang, Ultram, Warlord, Summit, Bahamut, Breaker of Creation. This absolutely must die. It feels like they're doing it. They're clicking on it. This was one that I kind of skipped over in Final Fantasy, not realizing how good it was, but... Alright, so what can we do? We can deal 3 damage to this, and we can just... I don't think this guy is very impactful. We'll just play out Summon Bahamut and just kill the old stick fingers straight away. And do we bother killing this? Put a counter on it. I don't think this is very impactful, so let's play out Rune Carved Obelisk. And let's attack. We'll put a blight counter on Command Tower. Cool, so that did something. It makes it to where they can't tap for all their colors. I don't know how impactful that's going to be. It's better on utility lands or lands that have a purpose. But, yeah, making double mana in an Eldrazi deck is chef's kiss. So they'll probably do what? Try to kill this, come back wrong, and do what? Destroy this? Yeah, okay. That did something because it had a enter the battlefield effect. It doesn't have haste though. Okay, attack for 1. Alright, so it's going to get sacrificed. It's going to go to my graveyard. And Urza's mine. And we can just play Emrakul. We can just play Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. So it can't be countered. When you cast this spell, take an extra turn after this one. It has flying, protection from spells that are 1 or more colors, and Annihilator 6. Whenever this is milled from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard in the library. Yeah, this is going to be game over for them. So an extra turn and Annihilator 6, that'll get rid of their entire board when it attacks. And it has protection from all their spells, so let's go ahead and gain life just for good measure. But it's over. I mean, I'm, again, just doing a victory dance because this is such a cool deck. Why not? Let's just keep it going. We'll exile the little dog. And they're going to have to exile all their lands. And I don't see how they come back from this. Not to mention it's 15 damage. So this is what's known as a flawless victory. They have nothing, and we have all this. That's how you play it. That's how you play it. Okay, we're up against Dovin Hand of Control. This is a good keepable hand. We'll have that surprise null elemental blast when they go and try to cast Dovin. Assuming it works properly this time. Alright, they go first. Let's go ahead and play out our Mox Opal. Won't tap for any mana until we have 3 or more artifacts, but pretty easy when we have Page Loose Leaf as the commander because it is an artifact itself. Adds to our count. Alright, Blind Obedience. Alright, so I expect they're going to play Dovin Hand of Control next turn, so artifact, instant, and sorcery spells your opponent's cast cost 1 more to cast, and then it can prevent all damage. So probably worth not playing our commander because we won't have mana up for Null Elemental Blast. Let's see if they bite. Looks like they do. We'll let the Extort trigger happen, and then we'll Null Elemental Blast. So counterspells is mainly a blue and white thing, but Eldrazi's have one, and it's this one. Alright, so what can we do? Let's play out Tezzeret. And let's grab a the other 1 mana cost card in our deck, which is Commander's Plate. That can come out next turn, but that'll add to our artifact count for Mox Opal. Okay. So they play out Solemnity, which says players can't get counters. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. Interesting. It doesn't say planeswalkers. Let's play out Aether Flux Reservoir.
My network is all
And we'll just untap this.
I am.
So this looks like some kind of combo line, in my opinion. It looks like they're very control-y. They got the Blind Obedience, Authority of the Consuls. All our Eldrazi's are going to come in super tapped. Alright, let's play out Commander's Plate, which will turn on Mox Opal. That'll give him a loyalty. We'll play out Page, giving him another loyalty, gaining us more life. We'll play Matter Reshaper. It's just a small Eldrazi, but it says when this creature dies, reveal top card of your library. You can put that card on the battlefield if it's a permanent card with mana value 3 or less. That's going to be mostly our ramp spells. So we have no more 1 mana artifacts in our deck because it was 1 or less. Both of them are out. So we will untap. What? We'll untap Page.
Work harder.
We can't get counters on it because of Solemnity. I was wondering briefly why I didn't get a counter, but then it's like, yeah, Solemnity's out. So they've played a lot of stacks pieces, but they haven't played a lot of things yet to take advantage of that, but I expect those things are coming. Alright, they're going to play Honest Work on this, which has it lose all abilities and lets us add a colorless mana anyway, so doesn't really do anything. Because you see how this text is grayed out. Well, in terms of the way Brawl goes, this was tapped. This had no text on it anyway. All right, so let's play. Well, they've got 1 blue up. Let's go ahead and play Mindslaver. Let's see if that gets countered somehow. That does come in untapped. We'll untap it. We'll attack with the Matter Reshaper. Just get in damage while we can. And so, assuming Mindslaver sticks around, we're going to take control of their turn and see what we can do with what they've got. Alright, so let's do that. Let's see what they're working with. Let's go ahead. We'll keep Warping Wail around. I don't know how many sorcery spells they have, but let's untap this, I guess, and hit them for 1, and then let's see what beautiful things they have in their hand. Oh, look at that. You got a lot of nasty stuff, opponent. Alright, let's... So the notable thing here is they can get rid of all of our creatures. Okay, glad I held up Warping Wail because that can counter a sorcery. Hullbreaker's a problem. Alright, so what do? We'll just deduce. We'll not extort. We'll decline. Play this. We'll sack the clue. I don't know if this is any good or not, but it'll just kind of let us know what they're getting. Aang's Iceberg. Okay. So... Right. Is there anything to be said for... Okay, so they have 4 mana. We have 6, 7, 8. So it won't be enough to play Bane of Bala Ged. Unless... Okay, I got it. Play it. It was taking me a little while to find the line, and then we'll untap the citizen, and then now we have Warping Wail at our disposal. So I had to think about that for a little bit, but now we ought to be able to counter the No Witnesses spell, and we will attack with only the legitimate business person that is an Eldrazi. End the turn, and let's see what they do. This says whenever this creature attacks, defending player exiles 2 permanents they control. So they're heavily incentivized to do No Witnesses. So we'll let that resolve, and then we're going to counter that. So I guess we have 2 counter spells here for Eldrazi. Choose one. Counter target sorcery. Yes, that's what we'll do. And we gain a life off of the Aether Flux. Alright. So before doing anything, let's attack for maximum damage, which is going to be 9, and they'll have to exile 2 permanents. That can be lands or anything else. If I was them, probably Authority of the Consuls and a land, maybe? Because they can Aang's Iceberg. But actually, my plan here, let's see, equip 5. I think that's actually pretty good. Let's equip 5, giving the Bane of Bala Ged protection from everything outside of colorless, right? And then we'll go ahead and untap the Humble Merchant. And they're in some bad trouble. So they've got 3 mana. They expected that they were going to be able to Aang's Iceberg the Bane of Bala Ged, but I have protection from all of that now, so they'd have to find another board wipe. I see they have by invitation only, which is another board wipe. But that costs 5. And what can they do at this time? Fog Bank. Alright. Okay, so this has protection, so yeah. Alright, alright. Let's swing in for 10. And then they're going to still have to exile 2 permanents. Which now I guess is probably going to be the Blind Obedience. Maybe they'll sack the Fog Bank? I don't know. Okay. Let's play Karn. probably don't have too many artifacts, but
To see alliances old.
alright, let's untap Bane.
My
Let's make...
absolute.
Let's submit 0 because I feel a board wipe is coming, so if we do make Aetherflux Reservoir into a creature, it's going to die by invitation only. That's if they draw a land, but I'm going to submit 0 and end the turn. So as you can see, Bane of Bala Ged has protection from all colors, so not able to block. Alright, there's they did top deck the land. Unfortunate. That means they stay alive for a little bit longer. Alright, let's play Cryptolith Fragment. Let's play Page once more.
Network is already bow.
Let's see.
New
Let's see. Again, I don't like... I mean, this puts more pressure on them, right? They don't have anything currently. And that is non-land permanent anyway. Okay. So we will attack here. Let's untap with it. Now it can get a counter.
work harder.
We still need something more. So what will they exile here? Barn. Okay. I see. Right. I guess they realized there's nothing that could be done. Yeah, I was going to Cosmos Elixir, which would allow us to draw a card because our starting life total is greater. Our life total is greater than our starting life total. And so we would have been drawing cards. We would have been easily been able to get out to Ulamog and Emrakul the Promised End before you know it. Anyway, they were pretty controlling, pretty annoying, but we managed to work our way around all of that and get the win. Alright, well this is probably going to be our toughest matchup yet. Seems like we can ramp out pretty quickly, but I'll explain why I think this is a tough matchup here in a moment. So we're playing against an alchemy-only card, Anina, Natural Parallelist. And it says, whenever you cast this spell with X in its mana cost, conjure a random creature card with mana value X onto the battlefield. And then she has an activated ability of tap, add a green and a blue, spend this mana only to cast spells with X in their mana costs. So what this deck is trying to do is make a bunch of random creatures, and that's typically good enough to win the game. So they've got a forest up. I kind of felt a pause in the priority there. So they'll be able to do, and they're looking at this. They're probably a little perplexed. All right, what can we do here? I know I want to play the Arid Archway. So what I'll do is I'll tap here. I will cycle the Eldrazi Ravager to discard it and draw a card. If it's anything other than a land, it's kind of a win. So now we'll play Arid Archway, and we'll pick up another land. And this is a desert that taps for 2. So it's just ramp. No attacks because we do 0 damage. So assuming this survives, we'll have 5 mana at our disposal next turn. And so I think I want to play the Rune Carved Obelisk, as that'll bring us to 7. And again, some priority that they're holding there. So with 7, what can we do? We can play Platinum Angel, which says you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. Seems pretty good against random creatures. Then if we draw another land, we might be able to play some of these larger spells. All right, open the way. So resolve, and they get a Fiend Artisan as their a random creature. And they play another X spell. And so we're going to have to make insanely quick progress. Because they're just getting random value from their creatures. Okay, so let's play Forsaken Monument. And we'll play Aether Flux Reservoir, and that'll ramp us further and gain us life for every colorless spell that we cast. So whenever you tap a permanent for the colorless, you get an additional. So we'll double up. So they're probably about to have a pretty big turn here. So they have 9 mana at their disposal. They Rivers Rebuked us, which is absolutely game-breaking for us. And because of that, I think we just lost the game. We'll play it out, but I don't have high hopes here. That is one thing that our deck is weak to. They're attacking with this for some reason. Best thing would be for us to get a land. So we'll play a Forsaken Monument. Or try to, anyway. And we'll have to discard a card. I think it's going to be probably our commander. So I'll go back to the command zone, and yeah, we still have a lot of catching up to do. I don't think we're gonna win this now, but so far their creatures that they've gathered haven't been too impactful, but better offer for 9. And they get a Thought-Knot Seer from us, which makes us reveal our hand. And we'll have to exile something. And that'll go away for good, but if this does die somehow, we'll get to draw a card, but yeah, we'd have just so much gas in our hand. I don't know what I would take if I was them. I guess we'll find out here in a moment. I guess their thought is like, what do I take? Alright, they took Ulamog the Defiler, which I guess is fine. Okay, so we did not get a land. We can play the Obelisk. We can cast the Platinum Angel, I suppose, just to make it so that they can't swing out. They'd had to remove the Platinum Angel before they won. Seems like they have an answer just based on the way that they're hovering over this, but we'll see. Either that or they're reading the card, I don't know. They play a very large Goose Mother. Randomly, they get an Archfiend of Sorrows, which didn't do too much here. So yeah, we'll take 18. Alright, so if they don't have a counter spell, we can just gain control of all the creatures that they control. Yeah, let's see if that works or if they've got an answer. They're telling me, oops, I don't know if that's on their side or if they're about to counter me. I realized they could counter me. I seriously thought the way they were talking, they were oopsing me that they had it, but yeah, man, we just got them so hard. Alright, well, see you later, Y Star. Alright, we're playing against Silver Quill the Disputant. We'll keep this. Opponent's going first, so this is one of the Elder Dragons from the Secrets of Strixhaven set. Has Flying and Vigilance. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has Casualty 1, and then it has some reminder text. As you cast the spell, you can sack a creature with power 1 or greater. When you do, copy the spell, and if it has any targets, you can choose new targets for the copy. Alright, we'll play out Library of Alexandria. I feel like there's a lot of good things you can do in Commander, but Brawl is fairly limited, I believe, with the amount of things that can be done here. It is going to be played in an Aristocrat-style deck, as evidenced by them playing Jadar, Ghoulcaller of Nephalia, which makes a zombie on every up end step. And they can attack with it, and then get another zombie. So we're going to have to turn up the pressure. Unfortunately, we're playing second, which is a bad position to be in Magic. They play Lingering Souls. They'll swing in for the Decayed Zombie. It sacks on end step and then returns because of Jadar. So we're going to have to kill Jadar as quickly as possible because that's just endless value for them. Best thing we can do here is play the Palladium Mirror, which will tap and add 2 colorless. So assuming that survives, it'll just ramp us further and further. We're not planning on blocking with it or anything like that. We're going to be having to take beats here for a while. They're playing more tokens, so yeah, they're just black-white tokens, it looks like. So they have a ton of creatures. Good news for us is we've got a Might Stone, Weak Stone. Let's go ahead and kill that Jadar. And this time I'm going to ensure that I click the correct thing. And let's play the Replicating Ring because I do not plan on blocking with Page. And even though we only have 3 lands, we will have quite a bit of mana at our disposal next turn. So we can play a Sire of 7 Deaths, or we can play Aetherflux Reservoir. I think that's going to be better for the moment. We just play out Sire of 7 Deaths. We're just asking for them to kill it straight away. At least this way we have a blocker. And we have extended value from the Aetherflux Reservoir because whenever we cast a spell, we gain a life. So what do they plan on doing here? They've got 2 mana. Do they play the Lingering Souls? Or do they play a removal? Yeah, they play a removal, so extremely glad that I sniffed that out and I did not play out Sire 7 Deaths. And as you see, Casualty is pretty powerful because they get to copy the spell. Block. Taking down one of their dogs. And we'll get a charge counter here. Alright, we get a waste. We play out the Loose Leaf. So I got rid of 3 of our mana last turn by killing the Loose Leaf and the Palladium Mirror. Alright, they play out Phyrexian Arena. And another Lingering Souls, they'll get a ton of those. So we will block a dog. We'll block another dog with a 0/2. Just to prevent a little bit of damage. So even though they're top decking, they also have a Phyrexian Arena. Alright, we're going to get our mana back here with the Eternity Elevator. And we can station, but we need to hold back blockers. So you get to draw 2 cards and make mana, which is not great news for us. Down to 1 card in hand. That's good news. They're playing Form of Amity to Surveil. Means they probably don't have anything impactful. We will block the dog, and that's all we can block. We'll take the rest. And we draw a land. We will gain some much needed life. We're back to 16. And these all have flying, so let's go ahead and... Do we dare station this? Maybe. Yeah, we'll go ahead and station this guy. If this has 20, we can add 20 mana. It's a little overkill, but maybe it'll happen. So they have a ton of mana. We at least gain 16 life. I think we'll have to just see what we draw here, but Summon Bahamut, I really want it to kill their Phyrexian Arena because the more draws they have, the more chances they have to get something really awesome off of Silverquill. Alright, they swing in for 4. This has Annihilator 2. Let's play Summon Bahamut. And let's get rid of their Phyrexian Arena. And here, let's go ahead and attack with the Breaker Creation. Because it does have Annihilator too, they can sacrifice, they'll probably sacrifice Infestation Stage and one of their tokens, Sage, and one of their tokens. That is what they did, because they get value out of that. And they can certainly block, quadruple block here. And that's what they elect to do. So they'll have 14 mana at their disposal. Assuming we're still alive, since they like that spell on top. We'll destroy Black Market next, I think, because that's given them so much mana. They surveilled, but they like that card. What is that? What would they do? Okay. I see. So they get 2 Dire Sites. Bolas's Citadel, not great. Felidar Retreat. Moseo. You get to make pests. It might be just too much value for us here. We got to get rid of Black Market, Bolas's Citadel, and Felidar Retreat, and somehow get rid of Silver Quill. It's going to have to take a hell of a top deck for us. Season of the Burrow. So they get to exile a bunch of our stuff. I think we're fixing to lose this game. Because we can't get rid of any of those things now that this is exiled. We're gonna have to gain control of their turn or something. I mean, even then, I don't know. And they play an Orzhov Signet. And block here. And do they just have us on end step with the amount of permanence? Probably. Yeah, they can sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. So they can certainly do that. Yeah, and we lose. Yeah, at least we lost in style. I will say that. Good game. Alright, quick deck tech. We are playing Page Loose Leaf. Our only plan with this is to use this little guy as a mana rock and just ramp into big, nasty Eldrazi. So up at the top of our curve, we've got things like Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, Emrakul the Promised End, Emrakul the World Anew, and all the Ulamogs. Basically, all the expensive, impactful cards up at the top is the things that we're running. So how do we plan on actually getting that to work? Well, it's pretty simple. Page comes out, it's kind of silly for opponents to kill it. And then on turn 3, we can typically ramp into some of our 3 and 4 mana spells, such as Weathermaker, which is just another artifact that ramps us. We also, like at 4, we have Rune Carved Obelisk, which will let us tap for 2. We heavily prioritize things that gain us life, scry for cards. We have all the Karn's Planeswalkers, which either shut down our opponent's artifacts or give us some value from having artifacts ourselves. Some of the key cards in our deck are things like Forsaken Monument, which lets us tap a permanent for an additional colorless. Also, we've got Ultima Origin of Oblivion, which has the same ability at the very last paragraph. Whenever you tap a land for colorless, add an additional. So when we have Ultima out, and if we are able to attack with it or untap with it, then we'll have 10 mana at our disposal or more. And that will allow us to get things out like Breaker of Creation or Summon Bahamut or Kozilek the Great Distortion, just things that make it really difficult for our opponents to interact with us, and they're just game breaking. So we're really just trying to ramp harder than our opponent does. If we're able to use some of these Annihilator triggers, or you'll get to see a game where I took an extra turn with Emrakul, very backbreaking to take an extra turn, and then for the creature itself to have Annihilator 6. A lot of these Eldrazi's aren't able to be interacted with very easily because, like for instance, this one, it says this spell can't be countered, and it also has flying, protection from spells that are 1 or more colors. We also have a little bit of surprise interaction. There was a couple times where I was able to counter spells with Null Elemental Blast. If opponent is playing a multicolored deck, this just, for 1 mana, it shuts down the spell that they're going to play. We also got to play Warping Wail, which has 3 abilities on it, and the middle ability is counter target sorcery spell, and that came up in one of the games. So in a colorless deck, your opponent is not going to be expecting that you can counter their spells. We also have things like Kozilek's Command, which on the 4th ability, it says exile target creature with mana value X or less, and we'll get 2 modes here. That's just like some removal, targeted removal. We have some hand hate. We have some card selection with Mystic Forge. We have One Ring. Just all the colorless stuff that is really good is in this deck. It has a pretty good win rate. I think if you craft this, you'll have great fun building it, and it's a pretty salty deck in my opinion. Anyway, that's been SaltMine Gaming. Have a great day. I will see you on the next video.